Hello everybody, welcome to Lupus Fitness 333. My name is Angel. Today's topic is calculated risk is life, okay? This is Philosophical Talk number 24. And right, let's get into it, okay? But first, please like and subscribe to this video. Try to get, if we can, try to get 30 likes. All right, and please send this video to whoever you believe will benefit from this. And all right, let's get into it. So, calculated risk. What that means for people with conditions like us. Sorry, I was eating a cookie. Let me put this away. What that means for people with our condition is basically it's more in depth of what we talked about in the few past videos of Philosophical Talk, which is basically hitting your limit and then kind of pushing it. But again, we have to be careful because us pushing our limit has to be calculated, and that's where the calculated risk comes in. And why is that life? Well, simply because we have to push to be able to extend our abilities just a tad, all right, just a little bit, for us to be able to experience life more. Because due to our condition, some of us may be severely limited, some of us may be, how do I say, our limitation is minimal, okay, but there's still a limitation. And for us to be able to fulfill our desire to live life, right? If you got into that mindset where you've worked on your body, worked on your mind, worked on your soul/spirit, you're gonna get to a point where now you're gonna want to experience more than just the mundane practice, the mundane mental exercises, the mundane spiritual and soul exercises, okay? You're gonna start testing that in the real world. This is necessary for you to eventually find a new purpose outside of practice, okay? Practice is good. That is a lifestyle. Once you're in this situation, it's a lifestyle. Just like working out, just like making sure that your mind is right and making sure your spirit or your soul follows, okay? Now, like I said, it's baby steps for taking risk. Make sure your risks are minimal, meaning like if you have, let me give you two analogies. The first one is, let's say you have $10 and you only use $8 to $9 of those $10. Risk 50 cents or 25 cents of the remaining dollar. You're not completely at a loss, but you are giving up something in the hopes of getting something in return, okay? Something possibly better. But again, it's a minimal risk. It's a calculated one that you could still bounce back from if it doesn't work out, okay? The second analogy is basically, I don't want to say a job. That's a bad one. Like, let's say, like for men, yeah, that's a good one. Like, let's say you want to ask somebody out. Let's say you are secure within yourself and you don't mind asking a person out, but you don't really care if they say yes or no. You're gonna go on with your life. Say something like that, all right? Another analogy would be like, let's say you buy food, let's say you buy French fries, and you want to taste somebody else's food, and you're willing to give up one fry for, let's say, I don't know what's an equivalent to a fry, but you don't mind losing that fry because you have plenty more. You understand? That's the type of calculated risk you have to make for you to expand yourself, okay? And then eventually you'll probably risk a little bit more, but it always should be a limit to your risk. Again, it has to be calculated. where the risk is a loss, but not a loss where it devastates you, nor does it set you back, and you could live without it. Okay? Always think of it like that. You could live without it. That's how you calculate the risk. Whatever you're giving up, you can live without it. All right? The next thing, as far as those who have a condition where they have put them at death's door or possibly have passed through it and came back, this should be no question. All right, if you've already seen what the other side is, or you've been close to it and you're scared, or you were scared and now you kind of have an idea of what's on the other side, then, I mean, why aren't you taking risks? You understand? You may, like I said, you may have an idea of what's on the other side. Not everybody will say the same thing, but usually people have an idea, okay? So, you have to live, right? You've almost lost your life, all right? You know how fragile life is. So now you just gotta live it. You got it back. Now live it. You understand? And risk for you should have, your perspective on risk should be completely changed, okay? It should. You should completely look at it differently now. Because, like I said, we talked about it in the last videos, your perspective on things when you've gone past that door, because I don't want to say the word, or you've gotten really close to it, things minimize immediately. Like they shrink down to like atoms, and you realize, oh, that wasn't important. Why did I think that was important? Now that I'm here, it didn't mean anything. It meant something to me because of something that I believed held power over me, but it didn't, right? That's one. I don't know if you guys saw there was a fly in here. I've been trying to get rid of it because of the heat. I guess it felt the AC in here. It doesn't matter. All right. Anyways, it once again, this topic touches what the last one was, where you go to a certain point and you know you have to pass that limit, or in order for you to live the life that you want, you have to be able to do this thing. So you got to push yourself to do so. But again, it has to be very well calculated. It has to be measured. Okay? Do not gamble big, especially since we have conditions that, again, punish us severely if we're not too careful. Being careless can punish us. Being not as careful can punish us, all right? We've already gone through it. For those of you who have very, very, how do I say, particular conditions, you know that a certain thing could set it off or make things far more difficult than they should be. So, with that being said, remember to calculate the risk, because that's how you're going to be living your life, okay? And that's what I mean as a calculated risk is life for people with our conditions, all right? As far as anybody in general, that you guys can be a little bit more lenient with that, okay? You could be more lenient with the risk. Obviously, you should take my, how do I say, I don't want people to think that because I'm giving you advice that you should do that. Just take my opinion on that, all right? A risk should always be something that you don't mind losing, but it won't destroy you either, or it won't make things difficult to the point where, you know, you can't, that door closes for you, all right? And for those of you who want to gamble big, well, obviously, if you gamble big, there's a big reward if you're in the right field or if you're doing the right thing. Not all the time is it that you risk big, you get a big reward, okay? And that's why I'm giving you this, my opinion on calculated risk. is better. And it's logical, and it gives you pieces of life. You understand? Because eventually you have to make it into a skill. Gambling is not a skill. I'm not condoning gambling, all right? Again, I believe calculated risk is not really a gamble, all right? For me, a gamble is like you might lose big to where you might not come back from that, or it might set you back. How do I say? Detrimentally? Yes. I now never was a big gambler, all right? And I don't condone that, and I'm not encouraging anybody to do so, so please don't do that. So yes, that's what I have for you guys today. This is Luke with Fitness 333. My name is Angel. Today's topic was calculated risk is life. Please like and subscribe. Send this video to whoever you believe will benefit from this message. And thank you again. Bye.